I want to show you these things I found at Walmart. Now, I think that sign there said waterproof at the store. It doesn't say waterproof on here, but this does seal up real good. It's called Rubbermaid Brilliance Stain Shield Plastic, 360 crystal clear. Now I want to show you two of these fit perfectly in here. Now I don't know if I'll ever use these or not. Might. I try to pack kind of light out on the lake, but I mean those things were just made for that. That fits perfect in there. I'm not sure if when you're sitting in here, and I'll try it, that this wouldn't be a good armrest. I don't know. But anyway, you can find stuff to fit in there, and it's supposed to be waterproof, and it'll hold a whole bunch of tackle. Okay, and I found this little tackle box, something I've had. It fits in here. Now I cut that little divider piece of material that was in there. It held it up too high, but that little tackle box fits in there with what I put my fish in. I usually try to keep one to eat, some paper towel, hand wipes, and here's a rag to, you know, wipe off glasses or something with. But that all fits right in there. So this thing's going to carry way more stuff than I'll ever want to carry with me, and I'm happy about that. And these little side pockets are really a good feature on this float tube. One thing I promised at the end of that other video was to see if a milk crate would fit in this bag little truck bed here, and to my surprise it does. There's some sharp edges down there. I don't know if that would hurt that netting or not. If I was going to use a milk crate in here, I would probably put something down over that netting to try to alleviate a little bit of the abrasion or whatever. So what this means, and people have been doing this for years, a person could, if they wanted to, mount some rod holders and stuff like that to one of these milk crates, and I'd be able to use that just like they do in fishing kayaks. So I thought that was pretty neat. I already decided before ever getting that float tube out on the water that I wasn't going to use those little old flippers that came with it. Now this is an old paddle of mine that I've had a long time, and I don't mind cutting it up a little bit, but this thing is 7 feet 3 inches plus a little bit. So I'm going to take 12 inches out of it, because I think this paddle is too long for that float tube. So I'm going to get started with that right now. I'm going to cut this off from here to here, 12 inches. And what I need to do is find out how far this hole is back here. So that's center on that little button that holds it together is, I'm going to call 2 1/4 inches. So I'm going to cut 12 inches off of this, and then I'm going to drill a hole, a new hole for this button, and I'm only going to do one at a little, I'm going to cut it a little shy of 2 1/4 to make sure I have enough space. I always try to use a smaller bit to get me a starter hole. It'll be easier to keep that larger bit on that circle, that round pipe. Whoops, wrong bit. It's easier to drill a hole with this than a Phillips head. Walling that out a little bit to make sure I have room. That without a 3/8 bit. There we go. Alright, so now I have a paddle that I think is going to be a lot better for that float tube. Alright, I think now this is the last video about it. The next video about the float tube, I'm going to be sitting in it trying to catch something. But there we go, folks. Short float tube paddle.